Hi, welcome to the Randy Jones Show, keeping it real with Randy. Right here I have a special guest today by the name of Dale Smith, and he's going to basically talk to us and tell us some life experience and his recent retirement from the job he had and what he got coming up next, okay? So, how you doing, Mr. Smith? Nice to have you on the show.
Nice to have you.
Okay, Mr. Smith, talk to us. You just retired from your job?
Well, yeah, I've been doing this kind of job since like about 83, 84.
Wow.
So I've been doing this for like almost 30 years.
Okay, now what job was this?
Well, when I first started in 83, 84 was actually my last year of school, and I was actually using the co-op program, which means you work 1 week at a business and then 1 week you go to school. This way, when you get out of school, you're going to know what you're going to be dealing with.
Okay, I remember co-op. They had that back when I was in school. I tried to get that.
Yeah, they still have that in schools because it actually helps people to understand. Sorry to say, the attitudes and a-holes you might be dealing with later on in life.
Well, we're gonna go. On our show, we keep it clean. So
yeah, well,
you erase the a-hole out.
Okay.
You know what I mean.
All
okay,
right.
yeah, it's almost like it's like work prep, like college prep. Like you got kids that go to school 1 week and then they go to take a college course in a college school or be an intern like that. So it's like work
exactly.
Prep.
So they might end up actually working for that place when they get out the next year. It's possible. I could have actually worked there after that, but unfortunately they had enough people there, so I got a letter of recommendation from the vice president, so when I got to my next job, it helped.
Okay, great. Now let me ask you, what jobs did you normally have since from the time you started working, or let's say from high school until now? What did you normally do? I mean, you know how some people, they say, well, I had this job, I had that job, or I had one job for 30 years, 20 years.
After I had that job in 83 and 84, when I got out of school, you look around and you try to find different jobs. And I was on the train one time coming from like Avenue D.
Yes.
This is going back, like, again, 84, 85.
Yes, yes.
And I met somebody that told me about this messenger service. It was called Archer at the time.
Archer.
Yeah, which might be still around. It might be another different name.
Okay.
It was located by John Street.
Okay.
So he told me about this place, and he told me about this Canadian bank. And I said, okay, at the time it was located at 430, actually 2 Wall. At 2 Wall Street at the time. So
now that's Lower Manhattan, right?
Yeah, that's Wall Street. That is Wall Street.
I know. I used to work down there.
Yeah,
myself.
when you get off the 405 train, it's right there.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
It's right across the street from the church.
And for those who's out of New York, this is all New York City.
This is all New York we're talking about.
New York, okay.
All right, so like I said, so I was there a couple of months, and then what happened was 5 people actually left the mailroom where I was working at.
Okay.
So I basically took the job of 5 people.
All right.
So basically from there, I was down by 2 Wall for about a year.
Okay.
And then I moved up to the main office, which is at 430 Park.
All right.
So basically from there, I was there for 20 years.
Wow, 20 years in the mailroom?
20 years in the mailroom. I was the supervisor. Whoa. I did inventory. I set up conference calls. I met everybody that you could possibly meet. So basically,
all personalities.
All personalities, all different bosses, all different. You name it, I did it.
So you was more like a bartender inside a mailroom. You heard everything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the bosses that were there before me, they left. I was basically one of the last ones. So unfortunately, in 2005, which happened to me and a lot of people, we got outsourced. Okay, it happened to me and a lot of people in other different companies back then. So basically, if people don't know what outsourced is what happens is you have to train somebody to do your job. Okay, and don't matter if you're 20 years, 30 years. I met people that were there for 35 years. I mean, people, just imagine 35 years, which is probably older than most of the people that are watching this right now. Okay, I mean, that was basically their first job probably ever. Okay, and you have to actually train some 18, 20-year-old to actually do to do your job. Because if you don't get your pension, you don't get your 401k. Basically, you're being blackmailed. But that's just the way those things are, unfortunately.
Well, any job anybody stay at for 10 years or more, I call that more like a career.
Yeah.
Even if you have a career, that's your job.
If I didn't get outsourced from that job, I would probably still be there, more than likely.
After you got outsourced, what other job did you do? Did you think
after I got out of that job, basically I was in unemployment first time of my life for maybe 2 months, 3 months, and then you look through the newspapers, you look through Craigslist. And then I got a job at this place called Supermac, which is no longer there. It used to be by 28th Street.
I remember
and 7th Avenue.
Stands for Super Macaroni and Cheese. That's good stuff.
Yeah. So a lot of people went there. I mean, it wasn't that far from the Garden, which is only a couple of blocks away.
Yes.
And so I was there for like, I'd say about a good year and a half.
Okay.
And after that, I went to, I worked by a flower shop.
Okay.
Which, so I worked there a little while.
What's the name of the flower shop?
Flower U. Nice plug.
Flower U.
Okay, which is still there. It's located on 25th Street between Park and Lex. And I worked there a little while also.
Okay.
So I was basically working at both places.
All right.
So I was going back and forth. So what happened was I left Supermac because the same problem I had when I was at the bank, I actually had a Supermac. I was doing everything there also.
Okay.
I was doing the prep, I was doing the dishwashing, I was doing the inventory, I was doing the cashier, I was doing the deliveries.
So you pretty
basically
much
I was doing more than the boss.
So you was doing
I was doing everything.
You was more like a human octopus. You had
exactly. I was all over the place.
Okay,
so he said, "Look, Dale, he says, Dale, I would love to keep you, but unfortunately, I don't know what to pay you." And I said, "You know what? It's no problem." So from there, like I said, I went over to Flower U for a good couple of years, and then I went to my present job, which I'm really not going to name, but people know where it is.
Come on, you don't want to name it?
No, I really don't want to name it because there's no need to name it.
Earlier, didn't you had mentioned one time you did security?
Yes, yes, that's true. When I was actually with the bank, I was doing security also for a security company, which I'm not going to name either because there's really no need to name that either. Okay, but again, people know, so it's okay. I was there for 2 years, or as I put it, not the best of 2 years, but I know, now I understand what security people go through, and you know what? I feel for you guys.
Hey, look, I've been doing it for over 10 years.
Exactly.
So I can definitely concur with you.
Especially when you do the graveyard shift, which nobody likes to do.
And you had no release?
No, and I had to do it on weekends, which is even bad. Because the thing is, I didn't go home until Tuesday. Okay, because after Sunday when I was done, I had to go to work, my regular job, so I brought my clothes with me.
So you had 2 jobs at the same time?
I had 2 jobs, and I also did home inspections also. So I had 3 jobs at one time. So I was basically all over the place. But like I said, so for the past couple of years, I've been working at the flower shop and my present job.
Yes.
Okay, which I've been with for 3 years.
Well, let me ask you, out of all the jobs you had, even the one, the present one you don't want to talk about, which one would you say was the best, which one you say was the least, or were all jobs the same?